Look at one of the latest things we have going on at Wing Family Nursery. We got interested in hydroponics a while ago and just decided to build a prototype system to kind of see if this is something that we thought would work well, if you could scale it up, if it just worked at all. So this is a system that we built in a spare bedroom of mine. It takes about 4 feet of wall space and it sticks out from the wall for about 2 feet. So it doesn't take very much space up in the room, and there's room to grow 49 plants inside the site. What you're looking at first off is the back side of fluorescent or LED light fixtures. There's 4 4-foot LED light fixtures, and they're hanging from the top. One of the purposes of these lights, or one of the things that was really important, is I didn't want cords hanging on the floor where you were going to be tripping on them going by all the time. So these lights hang so there's nothing on the floor. So they just hang from the top, and this is just kind of a prototype design that I made up, and we'll eventually change this to metal, something that's a little sturdier, but they both swivel and swing out of the way so that you can get at the plants to work on things if you need to. And I'm going to go ahead and move the lights out of the way and we'll look at the rest. Basically, everything here is made up of an 1.5-inch PVC pipe. At the bottom, we have a reservoir, and I guess we should start with the water first. And I'll show you what's inside the reservoir so we can get a look at how everything works. This is just a 27-gallon tote. I bought the tote at Baumgar's. And inside the tote is a pump. We'll see if we can zoom in on that a little bit. You can see a pump sitting down on the bottom. It's nothing but a marine aquarium pump. It's got enough power so that it can push a little bit of water. But then that's just hooked to some PVC pipe that's 3/4-inch pipe. There's a return in the back here. You can see this water spraying down inside. That's just to aerate the water a little bit. That's helpful for hydroponics. So I'm just returning a little bit of the water back in and spraying it out of a fine jet so that it just aerates the tank a little bit. And from there, I can zoom out here again a little bit. You can see the return line is a 1/2-inch PVC. There's just a grow bag over the end of that, any kind of sock just to catch any debris that might be coming back, plant roots, things like that. So what happens is the water gets pumped up through a 3/4-inch PVC line, and that goes up right behind where that last stack is, all the way up to where this board is. We'll see if you can see. This is a little difficult, hard to see. We'll see if we can move this around a little bit. Here you can see where the pipe comes up. There's an elbow there, and then that 3/4-inch line comes all the way across here. And off from that, there are some black lines that are vinyl. You can kind of see them here. They go up. There's just a rubber grommet in the PVC, and they go up and go into the top of the caps. So what you have is water that's just being pumped to the top. It trickles down through all of these, and then it returns back into the tank. It's all being run off of just a manual switch. We'll go over here and see if we can't get a look at the switch. And it's just an inexpensive, maybe a $10 item that you can buy just about anywhere. It's a mechanical switch. So the pump is on for 15 minutes and it's off for 15 minutes. I'm going to have to turn this a little to try to get in here so you can see where the switch is. So here's the switch. The switch is just simple mechanical. It's on and off for 15 minutes each cycle. And so you don't have to do anything. The pump will just run for 15 minutes, then turn off. The plug above it is a smart plug, and that's run by Alexa, and the lights are plugged into that. So the lights are programmed to come on a certain time each day and then go off. They're on for about 15 hours a day. So the setup is really simple as far as the lights go. For the plants, I'm a little low on inventory right now. You really need to, every week, there's 49 sites here and there's 7 in each tower. So I really need to start 7 plants in order to harvest 7 plants each week. And I haven't really kept up with things real well as of late, but you'll get a pretty good idea what's here. Starting off at the bottom is bok choy, and one of the things you'll notice about all these plants is, unlike dirt in a garden, When there's no soil involved and no wind involved and no pests involved, things look really, really good. All the leaves are super bright green, and the plants, this has worked out far better than I ever anticipated. So that's actually pak choi here. There's some lettuce. We typically grow romaine lettuce, a mirror lettuce, and butter crunch lettuce. Those are the three that we've kind of decided that we like the best. But here's pictures of the lettuce as well. Herbs, there's certain herbs that grow very well. This is summer savory. It's flowering right now. Oregano is not as good in a hydroponic system, but it does okay. There's cilantro up here. It really needs pruned. It's really kind of going wild. I've got a problem in this corner that started with a passion flower. I started a passion flower from seed last spring and put it in a pot outside over the summer. Grasshoppers ate it. It looked terrible in the fall. It was about 2 feet long, and it was mostly just a stick. And at that point, I don't know, on a whim, I just took it out and decided to wash the roots off and stick it in the hydroponic system and see what it would do. There's actually 2 plants here. You can see where they're stuck in the hydroponic system, and they've branched out since. But what's become of this is this thing loves the hydroponics. And this passion flower has grown, and you can see it's just covering everything. I trim it back periodically, but it just keeps growing. The ceiling in here is 9 foot 4 inches tall. It's up to the ceiling, and it is across the ceiling. It's coming back down the other side, and it's kind of everywhere. So I really kind of need to prune that thing up and maybe try to find another home for it. It's just really overgrown in here. Basil is good in here. This is a lemon basil right here. I think I just harvested the last of my regular basil. What you see here are young plants that have just been put into the system, so they're just getting started. Variety of lettuce, different things like that. Swiss chard does exceptionally well in here. And here I just harvest individual leaves, and so you can probably see some stems here where I've taken leaves off, and we just harvest individual leaves and let that go, and after a few minutes we'll just replace it with something else. Kale, there's a Tuscan kale Nero here that makes a long thin leaf. This is a younger plant. The leaves get really big in here. This is purple, Russian purple kale. These are about done here. I've been just taking individual leaves off them as well, and you can see they're pretty spindly now. They're getting pretty well done. The pump just turned off, and I did want to show you how the water system works, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on just so you can see, because I know we can do that easily right here. This particular kale plant has gotten pretty spindly and long, so I'm going to pull that aside so you can kind of see what happens with the water in here. And you can see the water is just trickling down through. So the water gets to the roots of each plant, and then it gets a lot of oxygen when the water is turned off, and it really accelerates growth, and things just turn out pretty good. We get a little bit of problem with algae when the plants are really young. You can see on the face of these rockwool cubes. Once the plants get a little bit older and they're covering up that rockwool, well, then the algae dies off and it's not a problem. It's not been a problem in the tank at all. Things stay pretty clean in there. A little bit of hard water deposit. About every 2 months, I'll just drain the tank and scrub it out good and then fill it back up again. It takes nutrients. I've kind of laid some things out here that's kind of the tools of the trade. There's 3 powdered nutrients. One of them is Master Blend. That's what I use anyway. There's a variety of things available, but this seems to be pretty well recognized in the industry. So it's a combination of Master Blend, there's calcium nitrate, and Epsom salt. And it's for a 5-gallon bucket of water, it's 10 grams of Master Blend, 10 of calcium nitrate, and 5 grams of Epsom salt. What you see right there, those containers are about 6 months worth of nutrients, and it's about $25 for 6 months worth. You could do it less if you bought it in bulk. I've been buying small quantities so far. pH down, you do have to lower the pH of the water. Our pH is pretty high here, between 7.2 and 7.6 typically. And so I use regular tap water, but I use some pH down and get that pH down to about, between 5.5 and 6. There's a pH meter and a total dissolved solids tester. That'll measure the amount of nutrients. You can buy those two together for less than $20 on Amazon. And you do need to, once you're established, to know what's going on. It takes me about once a week. I spend about a half hour testing, adding some water to the system, and just cleaning things up a little bit. Digital postal scale, that's what I use to measure nutrients in grams. That's less than a $20 item. Here's some plants that have been started in the Rockwool cubes. Those cubes are about, as I'm buying them, about 14 cents a piece. A little bit expensive. I could get the price down if I bought more. I think I'm going to look for a little different medium, but they fit the size of this 1.5-inch pipe really good. While we're here, here's another little project. Microgreens. Microgreens are grown in trays that have perforations on them. I'll lift this up so you can see underneath. You can see the roots sticking through the holes. Water in the bottom tray. There's a little bit of coconut coir, about an inch worth in there. Here's coconut coir. Makes a great growing medium. It really swells up when you get water to it, and so it's got a little coconut coir in there, seeded. And these are only about, I would say 10 days old. This is a lettuce mix. There's lettuce and radish, a variety of things here. And you just cut these off, put them on salads, or eat them about with anything that you like. Soup, they're good in. This is broccoli. This tray here is broccoli. And then there's just a salad mix here. This is peas that have gotten a little out of hand, pea shoots. I should have harvested these things a day or two ago. And I did start working on them a little bit. Cut a few off and put them on a salad, but those all need harvested and they will grow back. I'll get at least one more cutting, maybe a couple other cuttings before we're all done. So that's another little side project that we're doing. And another hydroponic project, and this one's almost finished up. I made a couple of tubs over here on this side, and I had beans and cucumbers. I had pole beans that I just got rid of. They were pretty well done, but I had been growing those since last fall, and my last harvest I picked over 50 beans off them before I pulled the beans. So this is just a purple passion. It was a cutting. I root it. I stuck it in here to see what it would do, and it seems to like the hydroponics, so I've left it there. Here's a tomato plant. This has gotten really unruly, and I've had to prune it way back multiple times. But this tomato plant is, I guess, about 4 or 5 feet tall. It'd be a lot taller if I had room for it to grow. It's under one grow light. It's not produced well during the winter, but it has got a couple of tomatoes on it. I think you can kind of see back here. So my phone's ringing. That's going to do it for now, and we'll keep you updated.